So there is a poem called Drowning Fish.
Okay.
So that's the title. Drowning Fish. Ducks or dawn. Fisherman trusts the ocean and the oceans, rescuing fish from drowning. So whether it's daytime or night, you find fishermen going around the sea to rescue fish
from drowning. Interesting.
Is that not interesting?
You know, it's like Putin rescuing Vladimir Putin is rescuing some Ukrainians, you know, who are Russian speaking. Hi there, welcome to Akweya TV, where we discuss history, art, culture as they relate to development. My name is Odo Diego Kenyedo, and today I have a wonderful guest in the studio, someone who is a poet. But before we talk about his poetry, he also has a degree in political science. He has another degree, a master's in gender and peace building. So he is a real authority in the subject, on the subject that we want to talk about today. So join me in a few minutes as we talk to this important guest. I'm not going to reveal his name. Just hold on a bit.
At Akweya TV, we serve you with premium content on arts, culture, education, development, politics, entertainment, and lots more. Whichever perspective of our social lives as people may interest you, Akweya TV has got you covered. You can view our programs daily on our social media handles at Akweya TV, and don't forget on our YouTube that you will subscribe to our YouTube channel below. Thank you.
Welcome back. As we start this show, I'd like to advise you, anyone who is a poet or a development communicator, somebody who is interested in development, share this video so that they watch what conversation we're about to have in the next 20 or 30 minutes. Because I've got an important guest. Like I said, his book, Akimbo in Limbo, has just been shortlisted. In fact, as you watch this today, the award is going to be announced. The winner is going to be announced. His book of poetry, the latest book of poetry released in October 2021, has been shortlisted for the Pan-African Writers Literary Awards. And it's a big deal. The whole of Africa, he's one of the few poets on the shortlist. So join me in welcoming Olumide Olaniyan. You're welcome, sir.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to meet you again.
So tell us your journey into poetry. You were in Lagos, you've been a journalist, you've been all of that. How did poetry come about?
In fact, it's very interesting. Yeah. Actually, I started as a prose writer.
Okay.
Long ago, some few decades back, I was, immediately after my secondary school, I was writing short stories for a tabloid they call Lagos Weekend.
Yeah.
Publication of Daily Times.
Yeah.
I was writing almost every week for them. Then, of course, in those days, you know how difficult poetry was for a number of us that were young people. You just wonder what these guys are really talking about. So I challenged myself that what is this all about? I need to also move beyond just writing short stories or prose and also make attempt at understanding and writing poetry.
So poetry is supposed to be the elevated art.
Then I dabbled into it and started writing, doing a lot, collating for almost 20 years. I was writing, not, of course, sharing with some few friends. Then as of today, I think poetry has won me. Because it's a bit difficult for me to even go back to prose. Of course, I'm making effort to do that now. But it has been a very interesting journey. Definitely into poetry because of the fact that you can really do a lot of engagement with poetry. You are not just writing to entertain people, but you are writing to challenge them. You're writing to pass very big message on what people need to do, how they need to go about it. And you are not just doing a finished story. You're also working with your audience or the readers on what we all need to do to move our society forward.
Okay, okay. I see that you try a lot in stimulating people with your wordplay and even right from the title of your works, Lucidity of Absurdity. That's the first collection.
Yes.
And then Akimbo in Limbo.
Mm.
Why do you choose those word plays? You know, they sound titillating.
For me, I think right from the cover page, a book should be engaging, should engage the audience. And even for Lucidity of Absurdity, I was looking at my immediate society, Nigeria or Africa generally, and I noted that quite a number of things are not just working out the way they should. Quite a lot of things are not lucid to us. A lot of absurdities going on here and there. Then maybe the god of poetry gave that title to me, because it came out from the fact that I was trying to understand our society, and it's so difficult. But I knew that human problems must be solved by human beings.
Yeah.
Then I came up with the fact that no matter how difficult things may look, we have to just sit down, do critical thinking, and address them. And that has been the world history.
Yeah.
Right from prehistory time to date. People have been solving problems, and we can't stand back as a generation. We have quite a number of issues to address, and we have to really address them. Even if you look at the illustration on the wall, you can see a lamp, for instance, chasing a frightened lion, a very angry lamp. So what we're saying there is the fact that no matter how big the problem may look, we don't have to just give up. We have to move forward and address them, because it's just looking as if it's a real problem, but we as human beings, we as people, we can really solve our problem.
There's a tendency to think that nowadays poets have been disconnected from society. There's some elitism. I've written it, but we know that, the writers like the Soyinkas, even though Soyinka is not known so much as a poet, but more as a theater, but he's a good poet. Course, and how they rallied themselves to protest the killings of Abacha, of Ken Saro-Wiwa, and before that, the killing of Bamambata. So it seems that the bigger things that poets should do, have been known to do, nowadays poets like you and I have failed in doing that, connecting with society to address issues and all of that. And that seems to me like the message I take from your new collection, Akimbo in Limbo, where our hands Akimbo, we're in limbo, there's a whole society is in limbo, and the poets are silent.
Yeah. You have raised a very big issue. The issue you have touched is very important. You are right to some extent. But what I need to state, starting with, is the fact that poetry, as you know, of course, being a poet also, is not like one size fits all kind of genre. So what that means is, of course, you have poets that are activist poets, like myself, for instance. And of course, you also have some
armchair
poets.
Activists.
They are not really armchairs, but they are in writing poetry. Perhaps you can also use poetry to entertain people. Those nursery rhyming, for instance, those kind of, they are still poems, but they are basically aimed at entertaining people. But quite a number of African poets, most of them are activist poets or angry poets, as some persons have called them, because of the things happening around them, which spur them to want to write. And I think we, as you mentioned, we certainly need to go beyond just writing. We also have to partake in organizing the society.
Yeah.
We cannot just write for the rest of the society and leave everything while we're standing. I'm Akimbo.
Yeah.
If we are in a state of limbo.
Yeah.
So we have to put in more effort in terms of making effort to see what we can do to mobilize people. And part of what we are doing to do that is through our work.
Yeah.
There is little we can do as individuals to organize people. We may not have the resources, we may not have the skills sometimes also. We may not have the necessary people to talk to. But if you are able to do that through your work, some other persons can take that forward
But our works are not being read. We have just 1,000 copies of each work.
Yes,
We
for instance.
do not propagate the works well enough. So why should we think that we have done enough? I think we are lazy.
We are not lazy.
Well, Nigerian poets are lazy. I mean,
but what we can certainly do more. We can certainly do more. But our primary work is to write and to give that to every other person to use it to engage. And we can also participate in that engagement. But we will not be writing and at the same time still stay in the forefront. You have mentioned Shoyinka, Achebe, and the rest of them when they intervened when Basha was killed and stuff like that. And we have seen people like Achebe, Shoyinka leading so many fronts. I believe Nigerian poets, to some extent, we may have some few ones that are also doing that. Yourself, I'm sure you participated in some protests.
Yeah, we did.
But we certainly can.
But our
past, we want to agree with you.
We're resting on our laurels. I mean, the akweyainfo did the Odia of Famous and all of that, but they are all still alive.
Yes.
But there's all this rot going on, and nobody seems to be really actively speaking. None of us in this community. And it seems like even globally, we're just silent. If only, I mean, we had Neo Shundare write, "My Lord, where should I keep your bride?" But that's in 2016. And that's also just a poem that not everybody really knows about. How do we go beyond the pages and bring poetry to life in connecting with social issues?
That is the work of every other person, including the poet as I've insisted. Of course, we have done the work. We have given them the tool. We have provided the tool for everybody to use. Like you mentioned, Oshundare's work, written since 2016, still very, very relevant. We are talking about it here now. So it's for...
But it's me and you, poets. The other people, they haven't read this work.
So it's for the Nigerian society or African society. And that's why what Power is doing is very, very powerful in terms of, Pan-Africa
Writers Association,
in terms of organizing awards now just to popularize work. Beyond even the award, they also do
the weekly
work,
work.
Exactly, and do some little discussion around it, which is so good. So what we need to do is to strategically think on how best we can make people to go back to the book. Make people to go back to the book, to really read, use them to engage, and use them to discuss. And beyond that, use them to also address some of the issues that are facing us. Like you may know, quite a number of poetry work are not like probably finished work because they can be interpreted in various ways. For instance, my first collection, Lucidity or Absurdity, has been used by 3 university students to complete their school project. And the student was looking at it in terms of co-criticism of review of Lucidity of Absurdity, looking at issue of literature and environment, which is something big, and it's not maybe when we speak on the street alone that we are engaging. We may engage in various ways. We use, like I do as a development worker, for instance, in some of my facilitating, I also ask people to add drama. For instance. Sometimes we may look at a short poems and use it to discuss. In various ways, we can use work of art to engage with people or to engage with society. But of course, it's mostly when you are out there and you're covered by the media. I'm here today in social media that people really know what you're doing. So the good thing also is the fact that quite a number of poets are using social media also to propagate their work, which is good. But beyond wanting to propagate our work is the fact that we need to also focus on seeing that people use this work in a way that they better the society. They improve their well-being as individual. The society is a better place for everybody. There is inclusion, there is participation, nobody is left behind, and issues like that.
Okay, I see your humility is playing out. I'm going to go on a break. When we go on a break, we'll come back and we'll discuss Olumide Olaniyan's work with an NGO. He's getting support and talking about anti-corruption and accountability. I know he's doing a lot of work that he has just shied away from talking about, but we'll talk about it after the break. Feel free to share this immediately to your friends, those who are watching. Share the video widely, and then we'll come back and have this conversation in a short while. Oh, so welcome back from the break. And before the break, we have been having this conversation with Olumide Olaniyan, author of 2 books of poetry, The Lucidity of Absurdity and Akimbo in Limbo. The latter, the Akimbo in Limbo, has been shortlisted for the Pan-African Writers Prize. And most likely later today, we should hear him as one of the likely winners of the competition. So, you're doing this work on anti-corruption and accountability. That's one of your engagements, using your influence as a poet and development worker. You're trying to use that to bring greater awareness about the issues of anti-corruption and accountability. Could you share with us?
Yeah, thanks so much for that. As a poet, I also work with CITAD, supported by Makato, on using what some persons have called art for development, for instance, using poetry, skit, and short drama to engage people at to reach communities in rural area, everyday persons that a lot of people may not be able to get reached in terms of supporting them to participate in the political process in Nigeria. And what we do basically is to we've made some of those poems into a mobile drama, what we call mobile drama, and we moved from bus stop to bus stops, or we go to markets to just do on the spot drama for some 15 minutes, and use that opportunity to also engage with the audience. Our audience are, of course, every other person that may come around, Okada riders, market men and women, and passers-by. We use that opportunity to engage with them on the fact that they need to start engaging with, starting with even with their councillors, chairpersons in their local government areas, and even all their representatives at the state houses of assembly or at the National Assembly itself, and telling them that the politics is about everybody, it involves everybody. It's not just the big men or elite or educated persons, or persons that can write to the media, or persons that can engage one-on-one with politicians in their offices that should be, contributing to decision making that affects them. We want everyday persons to also contribute to decisions that affect them. We want them to be included. We use that to preach about the importance of social inclusion for persons with disability, to talk about gender equality, to talk about participation in election, to talk about non-violence. We preach quite a number of messages through the use of poetry, use of drama at the community level. And we've been doing this for almost 3 years now. We're basically engaging communities in Nasarawa State, Karo area of Nasarawa State. And we have also engaged here in FCT, with a number of Jabi markets, some other Wuse markets, and co. We've been in those places to do this performance. And I think so far so good. We want to believe that we've been able to influence 1 or 2 persons. And how we intend to take that forward is also to start engaging with the state actors. Of course, majorly we work at the local government level. So we may start engaging with state actors. Our main area is in Nasarawa State, Karo local government area specifically, to engage. They just had their election not too long ago. Look at those who have emerged, engage them and work with them on the need for them to, of course, I know they may be doing need assessment on projects, but beyond that, to also continue to engage with the community. Not just about project implementing or repairing road and bridge and
Yeah.
taking care of beans, stuff like that. But beyond that, to also address some other issues that affect their well-being as people. For instance, quite a number of traffic on that road.
Yeah.
If you travel there morning and evening, and it just has to do with the fact that people are not parking well.
Okay.
So if they can really do some community sensitization,
Yeah.
talk to bus drivers, talk to keke riders,
Yeah.
and also beyond that, create bus stop appropriately.
Yeah.
These issues can be addressed, and we believe we can also use drama and co to address this.
So how do you know this is working? If you've done it for 3 years, what are the ways you are measuring to know it's working?
One of the ways we are measuring to know it's working, for instance, part of what we do is that we also do pre and post tests with the audience to find out. Then we also sometimes also get some of their details and talk to some of them thereafter to see if they are making effort to address some of the issues we have raised, the issue of reduction of electoral violence, for instance, in places, and the issue of social inclusion. They have an understanding of the fact that persons with disability are also Nigerians.
Yeah.
That they should not be discriminated because of their disability, and that there are close to 30 million Nigerians, so to say, living with persons with disability. And if we have that understanding, for instance, some parents may have children with autism, and they may want to keep them behind and not provide them necessary support to go to school, etc. But through our drama, poems, and literary work that we use to engage with people at those kind of rural communities, they will start having understanding on the need for them to give space, opportunity to everyone that is human. And everybody is human, irrespective of whether their person's disability, irrespective of their ethnicity or their sex or whatever. Yes.
Do you, in all of this, you're a political scientist first and foremost, and then you're a poet. Do you sometimes feel frustrated and think that this poetry or art for development thing isn't working? Do you feel a sense of frustration?
You may want to feel that, but I think it's actually working. If you look at looking at the kind of audience that I'm engaging with, because if it's folks like you, we may just get you guys into Word or call experts to present papers and all that. But everyday persons, they are first and foremost, they want to see what's this drama all about. Then they are able to capture the message from the drama. And the fact that we also help them to see the need for them to engage in the political space beyond voting, not just coming to vote periodically, but to go beyond that, to want to participate. They may not stop them from contesting if they are able to organize and work with a political party, for instance, and if they are nominated by their party to become candidates. But beyond that is if they are able to hold their government accountable, people serving them, even every form of community leaders. You may also ask questions from traditional rulers.
Yeah.
Before now, there have been quite a number of harmful traditional practices across Nigeria, across the entire globe.
There are still communities killing twins in the FCT.
That is shocking.
Yeah.
And you will not be surprised that many years back, up to, if I'm not mistaken, up to 1940, 1950, they were still killing witch in the UK, for instance.
Yeah.
In some part of United Kingdom. So what we are saying in essence is we can change the orientation of our people through the work of art, through poetry. In terms, if a number of persons have said poems are esoteric, difficult to understand, you may not be able to follow. But those were in those days when poets are fixated about following end rhyming or looking for those basic poetic elements are very important. But there are so many other methods you can still use to do a poem, to use parody, a number of stuff, to still pass a very strong message. So that is what is key, and that is what is important.
Okay, we're getting ready to go. Do you want to share any poetry with us? Are you're one of those poets that don't memorize your works?
Anyway,
Like me.
it's part of what people have called poems is, as I said from the start, is very vast and big. So I'm not writing so that I can use it to entertain, basically. But I'm writing so that we can use it to change society, to change a number of things. Maybe I will just give you a very short one that I'll be able to recite. There's a poem.
You had a haiku in.
Yes, there are a number of haiku in work. Yes, so there's a poem called Drowning Fish.
Okay.
So that's the title. Drowning Fish. Ducks or dawn. Fisherman trusts the ocean and the oceans, rescuing fish from drowning. So whether it's daytime or night, you find fishermen going around the sea to rescue fish
from drowning. Interesting.
Is that not interesting?
You know, it's like Putin rescuing. Vladimir Putin is rescuing some Ukrainians, who are Russian speaking. And for some people, they say in that same rescue, you are pounding innocent civilians. So how can a fisherman rescue fish from drowning when, in essence, you are going to also go and cook?
Stuff like that really happening in our society. A lot of time people think, oh, they dance around their political leaders. Oh, they dance around their leaders. But you should be asking them questions. Are you really representing us?
Yeah.
That should be it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's been very interesting conversation, and I look forward to having you some more on Akweya TV.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to come.
All right.
Thank you.
And thank you very much, those of you who have been with us. That's Olumide Olaniyan, a poet, author of 2 poetry collections, and one of them on the short list for the Pan-African Writers Association Award that's going to be given in Ghana today. And we look forward to, having good news from him and good news about the works. But those of you who have been watching and have been sharing, thank you so much for being with us, and keep sharing, keep sending us messages in the comment section or on phone. The information is in the scroll bar. You can reach us on all the social media platforms too. Thank you.